This episode of Harvey Brownstone Interviews is brought to you by the Harvey Brownstone Talk Show Blend Coffee, available at hollywoodblends.com. Everyone's saying it's the best coffee they've ever tasted. Why not give it a try and see for yourself?
Hello, everyone. I'm Harvey Brownstone, and today's special guest is a superstar who's been dazzling audiences since she was 3 years old as the only daughter in the legendary Osmond family. At the age of 12, she recorded her first solo album, Paper Roses, making her the youngest female to reach the #1 spot on 2 Billboard charts. She was also the youngest female to co-host a television show, Donny and Marie, with her brother Donny Osmond, which is one of the most popular and beloved TV variety shows of all time. She's a multiple gold and platinum selling recording artist with 12 solo albums and numerous Billboard chart topping singles, including Paper Roses, In My Own Little Corner of the World, Who's Sorry Now, There's No Stopping Your Heart, Read My Lips, and her iconic duets, not only with Donny, but You're Still New to Me and Sweet Life with Paul Davis, It Wasn't Love Before with Lee Greenwood, The Way You Do the Things You Do with Tom.
Oh, wow. You've got your history.
The Way You Do the Things You Do with Tom Jones, and of course, Meet Me in Montana with Dan Seals, which won the 1986 CMA Award for Duo of the Year. Our guest has hosted numerous TV talk shows. She's had her own radio show. She starred on Broadway in The King and I and did national tours of The King and I and The Sound of Music. She's written 3 New York Times best-selling books. She starred in 3 Lifetime movies. She ran her own company for 25 years, designing and sculpting the most beautiful dolls in the world. And her long-running show with her brother Donny in Las Vegas won the award for the #1 best show for 3 years in a row. Our guest is also a renowned philanthropist. She co-founded the Children's Miracle Network Hospitals, raising over $9 billion and helping over 12 million children in local hospitals every year. In 2018, she received the Secretary of Defense Medal for Outstanding Public Service. She's currently on a North American concert tour, playing to sold-out audiences and getting rave reviews. And her latest album, entitled Unexpected, debuted at #1 on Billboard's classical crossover chart and has re-entered Billboard's top 10 a staggering 29 times. And I can't resist adding that our guest was the first celebrity Barbie doll created by the Mattel Toy Company. I am thrilled and deeply honored to welcome the magnificent Marie Osmond to our show.
Oh,
Marie, thank you so much for being
Harvey,
here.
thank you. It was lovely talking to you. Goodbye.
I can't help it, Marie. I'm sorry. I just had to get all that in. I suppose the first question everybody always asks you, so I'll just get it out of the way. How does it feel to be performing on your own without your brother?
Well, you know, Harvey, I actually have performed more on my own than probably any of the Osmonds because I've worked every single year. I've never not worked a year. And I had a whole slew of country hits before Donny and I ever got back together. And so Vegas was really, we agreed to work together again for 6 weeks, and that ended up being 11 years. And it was kind of fun. We were thinking of going to 10 years. And when we were taking our bow, I looked at him and I said, "Do you want to go to 11?" And he started laughing. He says, "Because it's one more." And so our little Spinal Tap came to life and we did 11 years. That's how that happened.
It was amazing.
So,
I saw the
it's
show
been
3
off and on,
times.
but I've toured by myself most of my career. Yeah.
So when people see you perform alone, if they've never seen you perform alone without Donny, what can they expect to see at a Marie Osmond concert?
Well, this show that you're going to see, I think, so first of all, I'm not touring a lot right now. First time ever. And not that I don't love it, I do, but I'm trying to find a little more balance in my life. I have 9 grandchildren now. And so I want to be at their games and things like that. I'm also doing my bucket lists right now. I have 2 motorcycles. I jumped out of an airplane. I went to see, I climbed Mount Sinai. I mean, I'm just doing all these crazy things. But this show is celebrating 6 decades. And I've been so blessed to have it's more than 12 albums, but I've had an album chart every decade, which is just crazy for a woman, and especially someone my age. And so I just feel so blessed that this show, you're going to have a good time. I came from an era where it was entertainment. I don't believe in just standing there singing song after song. I love very interactive with the audience. I love to have fun. You've seen some of the ways that I perform, but this one is you're going to see lots of different things. And I have a little surprise in that show. A friend of mine, I found out was going to be in the audience. I might bring him up on stage. He's not an entertainer, but he's written so many hit songs. Backstreet Boy, I Swear, Once Upon a Lifetime. I mean, just hit after hit, crazy. And that way I can sing some of my duets, which will be fun. But one of the things I can honestly say, this show was put together, after COVID, people were so sad. And I'm one of the first entertainers that started to perform again. And this show is a culmination of, I believe that people need to be happy. They need to remember happy times in their lives. This show is all about that. Videos, songs, all kinds of things. But more than anything, my promise is that you will leave there having a great time, I promise you. And music is so incredibly beautiful that you can hear a song and it will take you back to a certain time in your life, or document something that you're going through, or create a new memory, or say something you can't, you know what I mean? And so that's the power of music. And you'll hear that in this show. Music is crazy in this show.
Well, I just can't wait. I last saw you in Las Vegas at the Flamingo. You shocked everybody by singing opera. I think it was P. Jesu by Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Oh,
when did you realize that you could sing opera?
well, I was asked by Rodgers and Hammerstein if I wanted to do Sound of Music. And you can't sing The Hills Are Alive with a country accent. And so I said, well, let me see what I can do if I can, learn to sing legit, which I did. And while I was learning legit, the lady said, "You're a high soprano." And I said, "What?" Because I didn't think I was. And she said, "And not only that, I can teach you to sing opera." And I was like, "Shut up." And so I spent 25 years. I really did this album unexpected as kind of a gift to my dad. And also, I really didn't think it would do anything. It was just my love of that kind of music. I was born on my dad's birthday, Harvey. And every year he would take me down to buy an album. And so I would buy, you'd think I'd buy country, which I did sometimes, but I bought, musicals and gorgeous opera pieces and symphony pieces. And like, for example, on the album Unexpected, there's a song called Song to the Moon. And it's supposed to be sung in high soprano Czechoslovakian. So at the end of it, I do that, but you'll hear this high siren. It's actually the first Little Mermaid song. That was my first Little Mermaid song. So every song on that album was meaningful. But when it went to number one, right out of the box, I was like, what? And so I have incorporated a couple things you'll see in the show that you haven't seen that I think you'll like.
Well, the album Unexpected.
I know it's a lot. I'm sorry.
It's such a revelation because you've tackled some very challenging songs, Marie, like Nessun Dorma, Climb Every Mountain, Nella Fantasia. How did you go about choosing the songs for the album?
So if you get a magnifying glass and read the fine print, you'll see. Everyone has a very specific story. And also it's a 17-song album, which is very rare. But I didn't know where to stop because music is such a powerful part of my life. I sing, I'll be doing jazz in the show. I'll be doing some Broadway. I'll be doing lots of things, of course, country, pop, everything in between. But on the album, I sing in 5 languages as well. So I'm an artist that can't say no, and I can't stand to be content where I am. I love to continually push myself, and God gave me this ability to be able to sing multiple genres. And so I love doing it. It's so fun.
The music industry and the entertainment industry in general is all about typecasting you, pigeonholing you into one particular genre. And you were considered to be a country artist for many years.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I am country. I love country. That's what I love. But because you love something, I don't feel like you should be just that if you can try other things. Life is too short, and I love to learn new things. So, yeah, I do. I sing multiple genres, yeah.
And you do them so well. You did a cover of the Liza Minnelli song from New York, New York, But the World Goes Round. That has a real significance for you, doesn't it?
Well, I feel like it's the story of life. It's
Yeah.
Candor and Ebb probably touted as the best song they ever wrote, and I agree, but it has to be sung right. And when you sing, you can just sing or you can perform it, and that's a performing song. But it's one of my favorites, and I think it's so appropriate for everything we've been through with COVID and everything else. That yeah, sometimes your friends kick you, sometimes you're down, sometimes you're brokenhearted, but you're also happy and is also glad. And one thing is consistent is the world keeps spinning round and round, and it's just such a powerful lyric. I just love that song. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love the way you do it. We
Oh,
all
thank you.
grew up watching you and Donny on TV. And really, I know this may sound weird, but in a very real way, to me, you were the Taylor Swift of our generation.
Oh, you are so kind.
I mean, does it
Now,
bother you that we don't have variety shows on TV anymore?
you couldn't afford to do it now, not with the way the cost of things are, and music, and it's just too expensive. But it took a certain kind of animal to do it, to be able to dance and sing and comedy. And I mean, I was like, and I'm dyslexic, which made it even harder. But I had to memorize 350 pages of script in 2.5 days, and I can't read music, which is crazy. I do everything by ear, so I can pretty much hear something once and have it. Of course, I'm sure that I'm not as fast as I used to be. I could do it. I could see it once and do it, but that it just breeds a certain type of entertainer. I grew up with what I call the great entertainers, who didn't look at it as an entitlement. It was your job, and you were only as good as your last gig, and so you pushed yourself. And so I think that has applied through my whole career. I just love pushing myself to do things,
I
try
don't
things.
know if you're aware of this. There's a Lucille Ball Desi Arnaz Museum in Jamestown, New York, and I go there often. And there's a TV that's running on a loop. And her appearance with you and Donny doing a musical number on your show is the number that's looping all the time. And I asked the manager, why is
Crazy.
that the number? Apparently, that was Lucy's favorite performance on a variety show was with you and Donny.
Let me tell you, I loved her. I would go over to her house. She taught me how to cheat at Scrabble. I love her. But she she taught me so many things. First of all, she was the first woman to have a studio. I mean, she was brilliant. She taught me about lighting. She said men how did she say it? They mature, women get old. And she says, so you got to know your lighting. She was just really just so smart. But here's something to tell you who Lucy was. So Fred Williams was my makeup artist on that show when we first started. And Fred was Lucy's makeup artist, and Fred was unbelievable. But I came in, I was really tired, and I just went over to the studio early so I could lay on the couch and sleep a little bit till I had to do hair and makeup. And I noticed that someone was in the makeup room. And so I walked by, and it was Lucy with Fred. She had come in 3 hours earlier than my call because she didn't want to disrupt my schedule with my makeup artist. And I said to her, are you kidding me? You're Lucille Ball. I'm 16 years old. You can have Fred. And she's like, no, no, no. This is your show. This is your makeup artist. But I would like him to do me. So I just came in early.
What a pro. What a
I mean,
person.
this is what I grew up around. And that was a cool show too, Harvey, because on that show she played the Tin Woman. I was Dorothy, and Ray Bolger, who actually played the Tin Man in the original show, played it again with Lucille Ball. And it was just, I mean, it was an incredible show. So fun to work with. And I did other things with her. Bob Hope was like my second dad, and he did many, many things with me and Lucy. And I entertained the troops with him and all kinds of things. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I could tell you great stories. I mean, they were just unbelievable people.
They really, really were. And your
Yeah.
show, you featured all the biggest, most legendary stars on that show. It's just unbelievable in 3 seasons how you were able to get so many legendary guests on that show.
I look back at that, and it was kind of like Entertainment Tonight and Access Hollywood and social media and everything all in that show. That's why it was called Variety. If you were the Super Bowl quarterbacks, you did the show. If you were in the new hit movie, you did the show. If you had the new hit TV show or the new, from Tina Turner to whatever, everybody did that show. And, George Lucas chose Donny Marie to debut Star Wars characters. And Donny jokes around about it like he's crazy. I'm sorry, but I'm really proud of that because I was the first dress up Princess Leia, and I like that.
Yeah, you were. No, you have every reason.
Because we were in 17 languages worldwide, and more people watched that show on a Friday night, they told me anyway, the network, than the entire, like if you took the blockbuster hit of that year, which was Jaws, more people watched that show on Friday night than the whole run of Jaws.
Oh, that's not a surprise to me at all.
It's crazy.
The modern day version of a variety show are all those singing competition shows. Now, you were a judge
You're right.
on one of them called Celebrity Duets. I thought you were the only judge that had any common sense. I just have to tell you that. You were the one judge that gave good advice. So would you like to be a judge again on a singing competition show?
Oh, I don't know. I do. When we did that was a trial. And they ended up doing what I said they should do, which don't have a celebrity sing and a celebrity judge. You should have a celebrity help a novice sing. And so they do that now. So it really was kind of like the beginnings of what they have now on those shows. But it was fun. I did it with Little Richard, who was just too fun, and David Foster. It was a really great panel. Yeah.
I'd like to see you as a judge on a show like The Voice or on a show like America's Got Talent. I think you'd be great because I really was impressed with the caliber of the advice you gave.
You're so sweet. Thank you. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. I don't think some of them enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it.
Well, when you look
it's
back,
not demeaning. It was just constructive. I don't believe in demeaning anyone. So.
No, that's not. Anyone who knows anything about you knows that's true. When you look back at your career, Marie, and everything you've achieved in virtually every aspect of the entertainment world, is there one particular experience you've had that stands out as the most personally satisfying?
Ooh. Wow, that's hard. You're talking 6 decades. 6 decades plus. The most satisfying career-wise?
I was thinking it might be Broadway because
I was going to say probably opening night in The King and I.
Yeah.
I was in the corset. I had 2.5 weeks to learn that show and the British accent and that book. And I was touring. I had to finish up some shows. And I didn't like her being this marmy individual. So I made her more playful. I mean, I wanted her to be someone that he would actually fall in love with, right? And the way the words are. So we put comedy into it. Kevin Gray, who was phenomenal. He passed away, but he was so good as the king. And anyway, opening night, I'm in the bathroom in my corset, ready to go on. And I have the book in my hand, and I'm going to throw up. I can't throw up. It'll ruin my voice. I can't throw up. Oh, I'm going to throw up. No, I can't throw up. It was very stressful.
Well, I want to tell you, I was sitting in the audience at The King and I on Broadway, and there was somebody sitting next to me who was clearly in the industry. I don't know who he was, but I recognized him. And he turned during intermission, he turned to the woman he was with and he said, "Now that's what you call having a career with longevity, Broadway."
Oh my gosh.
And I realized in that moment, the fact that you've done so many things and then you're starring on Broadway, you get rave reviews, you really understand how to have longevity in a career.
Oh, you're very kind.
And you've lived your life entirely in the public eye. You've been so open with all of us fans about ups and downs you've lived through. We all feel like we know you, we grew up with you, but is there anything about Marie Osmond that you think is misunderstood by the public?
I don't air dirty laundry. I share things in my life that I think might help, but people don't know my life. I'm still very private, about a lot of things. But to share something so you said share something that is,
that's misunderstood about you,
yeah.
because you do have a way of creating intimacy with your audience, with your fans, and through your books. And I think that people believe they really know who you are. And I just wondered.
Well, I think people when I was younger, I think a lot of people thought that Marie Osmond was goody goody and naive. And I have to laugh and go, really? How do you grow up in this business and be naive? Goody goody, call it what it is. I call it common sense. But I I have seen pretty much everything, and I have been blessed to see the other side of life too, which is my beautiful 8 children and grandchildren. And when I'm in my deathbed or ready to leave this life, as much as I'm so grateful for the awards and the accolades and everything, and this life that people have allowed me to share with them, the most important thing in my life, and I've known this from the time I was a little kid, is being a mom and a wife and a grandma, and that those grandchildren will care less that I did, Broadway, or, my album debuted #1 or whatever. They're going to know if grandma was there when they had their football game, or that grandma was there, when they, like my grandson's getting baptized. And the first thing he says, Grandma, will you come sing? And I went, of course, and those are the things that to me are the greatest.
Well, you
Act-
talk about common sense. You talk about how grounded you are. You immortalized your mother, your dear mother Olive, in your book, The
oh,
Key is Love, My Mother's Wisdom, A Daughter's Gratitude. She never allowed you as a kid, even when you were a big TV star, to develop a sense of entitlement. She kept you humble. Not
no.
many child stars had that kind of grounding. And I think it really, really shows, Marie.
I think in general, women are tough on their daughters and are easy on their sons, and dads spoil their daughters and are tough on their sons. And there's a beautiful balance in that. And, people have said my dad was really hard and tough. My dad was not mean. My dad was strict. And I know that I wouldn't be who I am without my father, because he was all about integrity. If I had a cold, he goes, I'm sorry, you have to go to work. You have all these people relying on you. You have to be there, take vitamin C. I mean, he was just a real ethical person. My mom was a softie, except with me. And so I remember really quick, if you want to hear, do you want to hear a story? I could tell
Of
you what,
course,
and it's one of my
absolutely.
favorite stories. I've told it a couple times, but so here we're in the heyday of Donny Marie, #1 show throughout the world. And I came home and I worked hard. I mean, 18-hour days easily, including my school. And I came home late. We had just pre-recorded. We had to tape the next day. I said, Mom, I'm going to bed. I'm so tired. And I need to look good tomorrow. I don't want dark circles. And she goes, really? Oh, well, you haven't done your chores. And I said, Mother, I'm like, Marie Osmond. she, man, was that the wrong thing to say? And so she goes, really? Okay, well, now on top of your other chores, the dishes and sweep, you're going to do all the bathrooms tonight too. And if you give me any more lip, I have a whole list to keep you up all night. And I look at her and she goes, you're going to learn the difference between a job and reality. This is reality, get to work. And she goes, the job can come and go, but this is life. And these are things and skills you need to have a healthy life. Get to work. And it was like the greatest thing. I'd come home and she'd say, okay, we're going to learn to make bread, or, we're going to make cherries, or I'm going to teach you how to sew. And it's so funny because those things I've taught my girls, and those things are so grounding. They're so fun. My one daughter's over here, and I'm making a crochet project with her, and I'm working on a quilt. But those are the things that are mother-daughter things, grandma things. Do you know what I mean? That's my mom.
But I wonder, do you think your parents understood back when you were a teenager starring in the biggest show in the world? Did you think they really got how hard you worked?
Of course they did. My parents worked hard, but they were not show business parents. I saw show business parents. I knew what those were, and that was not my parents. They hired the best. They had us work with the best. They didn't try to teach us, you know what I mean?
Right.
They just knew that if we were going to be good, that we had to be good, and that if we were going to do another show, then the show we did previous to that one needed to be acceptable and professional. And we learned to do things in one take because people appreciate that. And you show up on time and you don't have an attitude and you don't show up, crazy or drunk or whatever, you show up and deliver. And I think that the people we work for appreciated those things.
Oh, there's no question. And I
Yeah.
think that longevity that I mentioned happened because you're such a pro. Well,
You're nice. You look at you. You're the pro. Oh my gosh, Harvey, I've done a billion interviews, and you are just the cutest. I can't believe the things you know. I'm like blown away.
I happen to be a real
I'm very
fan.
flattered.
I'm a real fan. So that's
You
probably
are
why.
darling.
One of the reasons I wanted you on the show is to tell you something. After Tony Orlando appeared on our show last year, we became very good friends. And one time when we were together last summer, while we were having our coffee, he receives a text from you in Iceland.
Oh.
And he's telling me that you are one of the most admired and respected people within the show business community because of your integrity, your ethics, your commitment to hard work, your ability to reinvent yourself and remain current, and of course, your devotion to your family and your humanitarianism. So, Marie, my question is this.
He's so sweet.
Do you get...
Hey, if there's a person who is that, it's Tony.
Tony is absolutely that.
He's a jewel, absolute jewel.
My question to you is this. Do you get, deep down inside, do you really get how monumental it is that you've survived so long, so well in this industry?
I'm blown away by it. And being a woman in the 70s, especially, you were lucky to have a 3-year career, 5 if you were amazing, or you had one hit wonder, maybe 2. Yeah, I'm continually blown away, and I'm so grateful. I really do. I'm full of gratitude continually that I'm still here. And the career that I have had is just, it's pretty unique, I guess, in so many ways, but it's the followers, it's the fans, it's the people that I love. I call them my friends. I don't even like to say fans. And there's like this whole new generation. I was doing a show last week, or at Christmas it was, and there were all these girls in the front row that were 25 and under, down to 13 and 12. And I stopped and I said, "You are all so young. Do you even know who I am?" They were like, "Well, yeah." I said, "How did you find me?" And they're like, "Well, you're the Nutrisystem lady. And then we found out you could sing, and we love your music." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm actually a singer first." And so,
but I don't know,
so cute.
I don't know if there are any other singers that I can think of who have sung in so many genres like you. When you look at Paper Roses and you see the same singer doing Ness and Dorma, that's absolutely remarkable.
You'll come to the show. The biggest question I get asked is if I sing live, and I go, "Yeah," because that's how music should be.
Well, who would think that you don't? I'm amazed someone would ask that.
Because I'm in my 60s, and people, I guess, don't. I don't know. But when you have to. Broadway, come on. And so I think maybe my reinventing and keeping doing things, I love giving back. I love doing things that can help people. Maybe it's because I don't have a sister, but the books I've written and the things I get involved in, I love helping people feel happy. And it's why I'm doing a few of these shows. Like I said, I'm not doing a lot this year, but I really feel that I didn't want them to come to Vegas. I wanted to go to them because there's lots of people that can't afford to do that right now. By the time you pay airfare and hotels and cars and everything, it's too expensive. And so I have gone to places that are a little more, not rural, but off big cities. And the people have been so responsive and wonderful, incredible crowds. And that has been really fulfilling to me, to get to places where they probably would have never seen me perform, and have them have a wonderful evening. It's so fun. Harvey, I can't even tell you how fun it is.
Well, I can tell you how fun it is to be in the audience. Now, you know that our show is also televised in the UK. Is there any
Oh
chance
my gosh,
you'll be
I did not.
bringing? Yeah, our show is televised in the UK. You have a huge, huge following there.
I so want to go to the UK. One of the biggest things why I didn't younger is because of my children, but now that they're all grown, I can. But there's a logistics issue now with cost. It's so expensive. And I'm looking into it. I really do want to go. They have been so lovely. And I'm telling you, the British fans talk about beautiful people that love my brothers and my family. My mother, oh my gosh, she loved them. I remember nights when she would sit up, they called her Mother Osmond, and she would write these. She was like so ahead of her time with social media. She wrote these newsletters once a month and would tell what all of us were doing in our family. I mean, it was social media basically. And one night I came in late and she was typing her Mother Osmond's memo, and mom is what it was called. And I said, I swear you love the fans more than me. And she looked at me and she goes, get over it, shut the door. And I went, you know what? She really does love them all. And maybe I'm very much like her. I kind of think I channel her in a lot of ways. I feel like I have a lot of things like my mom and my dad. But I think I love people as much as she does and my dad. And not I'm not the person that goes to where all the celebrities hang out. I'm the person that goes to where the limo driver is, or the catering person is, or the person who's hanging the lights, because it's the crew and those people that put the show on. And they're so, I mean, they're really, I'm just grateful for, it's not me, it's everybody that puts everything together. But I would love to go there. I mean, I'm British. That's our ancestry. We're English Welsh. So
Well, I tell you, if you can bring the concert there, you will get even
well, put a
bigger
petition
reaction.
out for me, people. Tell your there's people that bring me over. They're like producers or whatever. So just get a hold of them and tell them you want me to come over, see what they do.
I have to ask you this question, or I'll get my head chopped off by millions of fans. Is there any chance you and Donny will tour again?
I don't think so, Harvey. That's definitely, I mean, we're so different. Musically, Donny, hey, he's great. And he does his, let's get down to business, and it's all flashy and it's wonderful. But he's, to me, like my Christmas show, I had 60-piece orchestras behind me, and I do such a variety of music, and for 6 decades, and I've been blessed to have so many different kinds of hits. So it's hard to, what do you do, what do you don't? And I really enjoy the show right now. I mean, I do things differently. For one thing, I pick randomly out of social media in areas, and I have them come to my sound checks free, and I answer their questions. And he doesn't do that. I like doing that. And so it's nice to have your own show. And like I said, I've toured by myself a lot more than he has. So I like doing that really intimate thing with the audience. Don't get me wrong, I love doing shows with him, but we did that in Vegas. I tell people, you want to hear me sing Donny Marie songs, you should have come to Vegas.
You were there 11
years.
years.
A long time. Yeah.
That's for sure. I want to tell our viewers that you can learn more about Marie Osmond, buy her music and other merchandise, and see her concert schedule by going to her official website at marieosmond.com. Well, Marie, I know how incredibly busy you are. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today. Thank you so much for appearing on our show, Marie.
I am just flattered by you, Harvey. My gosh, you brought up things. Like I said, I've done a lot of interviews, and you can tell the people that just really do their research. And I mean, there were so many things you brought up that I'm like, wow, I'm impressed, Harvey.
Well, I'm afraid the fanboy came out a little more than it should.
I love the fanboy.
I can't wait to see you in concert. I'm so proud of the human being you are, the role model you are. You come from a generation of entertainers that's a real pro. You really understand the business, and you understand what it is to be an entertainer. But more than that, you're someone that everyone looks up to. And I'm just thrilled to have had this chance to meet you. And I'm very, very grateful to you.
For everybody watching, and you're very sweet, Harvey is so detailed with your questions, and it's because you have been a judge. Do people know that?
Yeah, they know.
They know it. You can tell you are very thorough, and it's really, I can see it. I mean, you're really good at what you do. You're really
Oh,
good.
that is so sweet. So
You
does
are
that mean you'll come back on my show sometime?
anytime you want.
Oh, thank you so much. I can't wait
Anytime.
to
I mean that. And I can't wait to meet you and have you come backstage, and we'll take a picture and have fun. And I look so forward to seeing you.
You got me all verklempt, Marie.
You're so cute.
Our guest has been the incomparable Marie Osmond, whose beautiful new album, Unexpected, is available on Amazon, iTunes, and every major online music streaming service. My name is Harvey Brownstone. Thank you to my producer, Steve Silver, my director of programming, Deborah Batsafin, my production assistant, Rosa Puzo, my PR directors, Eileen Shapiro and Jimmy Starr, and our entire team at the XPTV1 network in the UK.
That's why you're good, because you think everybody with you.
I sure do. It's the whole team.
It's the whole secret to everything.
Thank you all for joining us. See you next time. And I love you, Marie.
I love you. You're awesome. You are.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out all the great interviews on the Harvey Brownstone Interviews YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified when new videos are posted.